Hello and welcome to Cần Thơ News of Cần Thơ Radio and Television Station. Here are today's headlines. Chairman of Cần Thơ City People Committee visited policy families in Thốt Nốt district to mark the 76th anniversary of Vietnam War Invalids and Martyrs Day. Projects in industrial parks in Cần Thơ City have implemented 60% of registered capital. According to the Ministry of Planning and Investment, the healthcare market in Vietnam is growing rapidly and reaching a scale of over $20 billion in 2022. Top news today. In order to mark the 76th anniversary of Vietnam War Invalids and Martyrs Day, on July 23rd, Mr. Trần Việt Trường, Chairman of Cần Thơ City People Committee, visited and presented gifts to Vietnamese heroic mothers, the families of people with meritorious services to the revolution, and attended the groundbreaking ceremony of the House of Gratitude in Thốt Nốt district. Before the meeting, the chairman attended the groundbreaking ceremony of 8 gratitude houses for families of civil servants with housing difficulties in Thốt Nốt district. The amount of money to build a gratitude house is 600 million Vietnam dong, supported by the city's leaders in mobilizing businesses to support. At the meeting, Mr. Trần Việt Trường expressed his gratitude to the people with meritorious services to the revolution. Over the past time, branches and localities at all levels in the city have always paid attention to the life of families and people with practical activities contributing to improving their living standards. On this occasion, the city and Thốt Nốt district presented 120 gifts to typical families worth over 90 million Vietnam dong. In Cần Thơ City, there are currently 258 valid projects in Industrial Park, with a lease area of more than 395 hectares of industrial land. The realized investment capital is $1,121,000, accounting for 60% of the total registered investment capital.
In particular, there are 2 industrial parks that have completely filled the available industrial land. Đài 1 Industrial Park, which was founded in 1995 and has a total area of around 135 hectares, essentially finished the infrastructure investment and utilized on available industrial land. The nearby Đài 2 Industrial Park, which was founded in 1998 and has a total area of around 165 hectares, has finished the infrastructural investment and occupied 97% of the available industrial land. Even though these industrial parks are fully occupied, some secondary investors who are already in place continue to indicate and desire to lease additional industrial space to support the needs of growing their businesses.
While rice prices of all kinds in the Mekong Delta last week fluctuated in some localities, export price roses to their highest level in more than a decade, as El Niño raised concerns about supply shortage, especially as India recently issued a ban on rice exports.
Data from the Institute of Policy and Strategy for Agricultural and Rural Development shows that in Sóc Trăng, the price of rice has decreased compared to the previous week. Meanwhile, the price of rice in Cần Thơ remains stable. In terms of exports, Vietnam's 5% broken rice price was offered at $550 to $525 for 1 ton, up from $510 to $513 for 1 ton last week, the highest since 2011. Traders in some southern provinces said demand is getting stronger as many countries stock up on rice to cope with the adverse impact of the expected El Niño.
Issuing sales, profit, and revenue all increased over the same period. These are very exciting results of the production and business activities of lottery companies in the South area in the first 6 months of 2023. Specifically, in the past 6 months, the issuing sales of lottery companies in the southern region increased by nearly 12% over the same period. Revenue increased by nearly 16%, consumption rate reached more than 98%, increased by nearly 4%. Profit is over 8,780 billion Vietnam dong, up more than 10%. The budget contribution is over 22 trillion Vietnam dong, up nearly 26% and reaching nearly 61% of the year plan. lottery companies in the area consistently abide the state laws, particularly the Ministry of Finance directive documents on improving the management of lottery business activities. Likewise, social welfare and charitable activities of roughly 170 billion Vietnam dong were carried out using funds from the lottery companies and the collection of donations in the first half of the year. According to the Ministry of Planning and Investment, the healthcare market in Vietnam is growing rapidly and reaching a scale of over 20 billion US dollar in 2022. According to expert forecasts, this number will reach 23.3 billion in 2025 and 33.8 billion in 2030.
The fastest growing sector is the pharmaceutical industry, which increased from 3.4 billion USD in 2015 to 7 billion USD in 2022. At the moment, Vietnam has 228 factories producing pharmaceuticals, vaccines, secondary packaging, and processing medicinal plants. Several of these factories adhere to the industry-high GMP EU requirements. As a result, it declared that given its potential, Vietnam's pharmaceutical industry still has a lot of room to grow and become a significant medication producer in the region and globally.
Although the number of dengue fever cases in Cần Thơ City decreased, the number of severe cases increased. The city health sector recommends that people actively kill mosquitoes and larvae, as well as clean the environment to prevent disease, especially in the rainy season.
The Center for Disease Control CDC of the city reported 1,101 dengue infections in the first half of this year. There are 553 instances from the same period in 2022. Over 58% of dengue cases included children under the age of 5. However, outbreaks and serious cases rose quickly. In the city, there have been 276 dengue outbreaks of 119 incidents over the same time in 2022. Under Grade A cases continue to make up the majority of cases, the number of cases with severity and warning indications is higher than it was during the same period in 2022. Doctors advise parents to take their children to a medical facility as soon as they exhibit the following symptoms during the dengue epidemic season: sudden high fever that lasts continuously for 2 to 7 days, headache, pain in the muscles and joints, loss of appetite, fatigue, abdominal pain, and signs of bleeding.
Recently at Trần Hoàng Na High School, the Red Cross Society of Cái Răng District, in collaboration with the City Sponsoring Association for Poor Patients, organized free medical examination and treatment for poor patients in the district. 160 poor, disadvantaged, elderly people living alone in Cái Răng District were screened and diagnosed by doctors from the Good Samaritan Medical Dental Ministry Union for some common diseases of the heart, eyes, teeth, muscles, bones, and joints. Funding for this free medical examination and treatment was organized by Cái Răng Red Cross Association in mobilizing socialization resources. From August 15, people aged 15 and over can register their vehicles. This content is included in the new circular of the Ministry of Public Security on the grant and revocation of registration and number plates of motor vehicles. Accordingly, a person from 15 years old to under 18 years old to register a vehicle must have the consent of a parent or a guardian. This consent must be recorded. Registration is done on the National Public Service Portal or the Public Service Portal of the Ministry of Public Security. The vehicle owner must declare and complete the necessary steps in person at the vehicle registration office if using the public service portal is not possible due to a lack of electronic data or technical issues. Coming up next is the weather forecast. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.